power. The word itself strikes fear into the hearts of the weak and ambition into the hearts of the strong. Understand this: in the grand theater of life, power is not distributed fairly. It is seized. It is taken. It is pulled violently from the hands of the naive and gripped tightly by the ruthless. The world is not a place for dreamers, for idealists, or for those who believe that goodness alone will elevate them. No. This world belongs to those who understand the brutal mechanics of power, who see through the masks people wear and act without hesitation when the moment demands it. I am Niccolo Machiavelli. I do not speak to the sheep, the comfortable, or the compliant. I speak to those who are willing to shed the illusions of morality when necessary to dirty their hands, if it means securing their destiny. For centuries, weak men have tried to water down my words to make me seem cruel or cynical. They are wrong. I am merely honest about the nature of mankind. Men are fickle, ungrateful, deceitful, driven by fear and self-interest. And if you wish to rule, to rise, to command your fate, you must master the real laws that govern human behavior, not the fantasy taught in churches, courts, and schools. The laws I reveal to you are not theories. They are weapons, cold, sharp, effective. Ignore them, and you will be crushed. Embrace them, and you will ascend. Today I will teach you 5 eternal laws of power. 5 pillars that will elevate you above the crowd and protect you from the treachery of the world. Understand them, and you will never again be a pawn in someone else's game. You will become the player, the architect of your own dominion. Let us begin. First law: trust no one. Engrave these words onto your mind as if your life depends on it, because it does. Nothing is more fatal in the pursuit of power than misplaced trust. Men are not loyal by nature. They are loyal to their needs, their ambitions, their fears. When those change, so too will their allegiance. Today they swear devotion to you. Tomorrow they kneel before your enemy. It is the eternal folly of rulers and leaders to believe in the words of flatterers, the promises of allies, the vows of friends. But I tell you this: trust is the language of the naive. Power is built not upon faith, but upon vigilance, skepticism, and control. You must understand the heart of man is a treacherous thing. It beats not for loyalty, but for advantage. It calculates constantly, measuring what can be gained, what can be lost. When loyalty becomes inconvenient, even the closest confidant will betray you without hesitation. Betrayal is not an exception, it is the rule. It is not personal. It is inevitable. Accept this, and you will never be caught unprepared. Deny it, and you will be undone by those you least suspect. You must watch carefully. Listen more than you speak. Let others reveal themselves while you reveal nothing. Maintain cordial relations, but keep your true thoughts hidden. Allow no one to hold leverage over you. Give trust only in pieces, and even then make sure that losing you would cost them more than betraying you could ever gain. Chain loyalty to self-interest, not affection. If a man's survival or fortune depends on your success, he will remain true, but only because it serves him to do so. A wise prince surrounds himself with divided interests. Let your advisors, your generals, your courtiers distrust each other more than they distrust you. A house united against itself cannot stand, and this is precisely the condition you want among those around you. If they fear one another, they will cling to you for security. If they conspire, they will betray each other before they betray you. Division is your ally. Unity among your inferiors is your death sentence. Many will object to such a view of humanity. They will call it cynical, even evil. Let them. The graveyards of history are filled with rulers who trusted too much. Caesar trusted Brutus. Julius too trusted his cardinals. The Medici trusted their bankers. Each of them betrayed. Each of them destroyed by those they once embraced as brothers. Sentiment has no place in the calculations of power. Sentiment blinds. It leads a man to see the world not as it is, but as he wishes it to be. And such a man is a lamb led quietly to the slaughter. Do not think that because someone has served you faithfully, once they will serve you forever. Gratitude is a fleeting thing. Today's hero is tomorrow's traitor when ambition or opportunity strikes. People remember favors only as long as it benefits them to do so. When the winds change, they will not hesitate to abandon you, slander you, or destroy you if it advances their position. Prepare for this. Expect it. It is not betrayal when it is inevitable. It is merely nature revealing itself. There is great freedom in trusting no one. You cease to be vulnerable to the whims and deceits of others. You cease to be a puppet in someone else's play. You move in silence, act in stealth, and rule with eyes wide open. Your caution will be mocked by the foolish, but envied by the survivors. The man who trusts no one is deceived by no one. The man who is deceived by no one is defeated by no one. It is better to be alone and safe than surrounded by smiling enemies waiting for the moment you drop your guard. Remember always, trust is a currency you must spend with extreme frugality. It is a blade that cuts not just your enemies, but yourself if wielded recklessly. Trust no one without reason. Trust no one without leverage. Trust no one without preparation for their inevitable fall. In the brutal chessboard of power, every piece has its price. Every ally has an expiration date. And every loyalty can be bought threatened or broken. Stand alone if you must, but never fall because you let someone stand too close. Trust no one, and in doing so you will rule without fear. Second law. Mercy is a beautiful idea for poets and priests. For those who seek power, it is a death sentence. In the brutal arena of ambition, there can be no half measures, no compromises, no second chances for your enemies. When you strike, you must strike so completely, so ruthlessly, that no possibility of retaliation remains. A wounded enemy is a dangerous enemy. A humiliated rival is a vengeful rival. If you leave them standing, even barely, they will crawl through the ashes of their defeat, gather strength in the shadows, and one day return to destroy you. I have seen it across centuries and kingdoms. The prince who shows mercy to a defeated foe digs his own grave with noble intentions. Remember, to spare is to invite future danger. To crush is to guarantee lasting security. Machiavelli's wisdom is not built on fantasy. It is built on the cold observation of men. Mercy does not breed gratitude. It breeds resentment. Those you defeat will never forgive your victory, no matter how generous you are. They will smile yes and bow and kiss your hand. But behind their smiles will smolder a fire that years will not extinguish. They will wait for weakness for an opening for revenge. Mercy makes you vulnerable. Mercy tells your enemies that you are sentimental, that you can be manipulated, that there is still hope. Hope is the most dangerous weapon in the hands of a defeated enemy. Rip it from them. Burn it at the roots. Destroy not just their armies, but their spirit, their will, their dreams of resurrection. History offers countless examples. Consider Caesar, who showed mercy to his enemies during the Roman civil wars. He pardoned them, welcomed them back into the Senate, offered them positions of power. And how did they repay him? They conspired. They plotted. They plunged knives into his back on the Ides of March. His mercy killed him. Or reflect on Hannibal, who after annihilating Roman forces at Cannae, hesitated, failed to march on Rome, failed to finish what he had begun. That mercy, that moment of hesitation, doomed him. Rome recovered, regrouped, and ultimately crushed Carthage into dust. Every moment an enemy remains breathing is a seed of future disaster. When you defeat a rival, you must eliminate them so thoroughly that no memory of resistance remains. Destroy their resources, break their alliances, ruin their reputation, shatter their morale, make their defeat a lesson to all others who would dare to oppose you. Fear is a more reliable ally than gratitude. Men will hesitate to rise against a ruler who shows no mercy to those who cross him. They will think twice before they gamble their lives against a master who leaves no survivors. Power is maintained not by kindness, but by the cold certainty that rebellion leads to ruin. This principle extends beyond war and politics into every field where ambition breathes. In business and court, in the battle for influence, you must understand that a competitor only ceases to be a threat when they are utterly defeated. A rival company bought out and absorbed. Its founders humiliated and powerless. A rival noble exiled, impoverished, erased from memory. Half-victories are illusions. They provide the appearance of security while rot festers beneath the surface. You must be ruthless enough to see it through to the end. You must be willing to go farther than others dare. Of course, you must also be wise enough to destroy without inviting unnecessary scandal. Public opinion is a force to manage. Crush your enemies, but do so in a way that seems just inevitable or even righteous. Let the world see you as the hand of fate rather than a bloodthirsty tyrant. Mask your ruthlessness behind necessity, behind the needs of the state, behind the moral fabric of order. A ruler feared for his strength, but admired for his stability, will command longer than one reviled for open cruelty. Kill the snake, but let the world believe it bit itself. Crushing your enemies completely is an act of mercy, not to them, but to yourself, to your kingdom, to your ambitions. It removes uncertainty. It secures the future. It teaches those who remain that resistance is not only futile, but suicidal. Weakness invites chaos. Strength creates peace. If you cannot be merciless when required, you are unfit to rule. If you hesitate when the blade must fall, the same blade will one day find your neck. Remember, power is not preserved by forgiveness. It is preserved by finality. When you conquer, conquer completely. When you defeat, leave nothing behind. Show the world that defiance against you is not a risk worth taking. Crush your enemies so completely that no one will dare to be your enemy again. Third law. In this world, it is not enough to be powerful. You must also appear virtuous. The game of power is not won merely by force, but by perception. Men judge by what they see, not by what they cannot touch. Appearances are everything. If you wear the mask of virtue, justice, honesty, compassion, you will be praised, followed, and loved. But if you act only according to genuine virtue, you will be devoured by wolves pretending to be sheep. The wise understand the necessity of a double life, to be ruthless beneath the surface while projecting purity above it. A ruler who openly shows his claws invites fear, yes, but also rebellion. A ruler who hides his claws behind a robe of righteousness commands obedience and admiration. It is the art of deception raised to its highest form. Rule by illusion while achieving domination through reality. Machiavelli taught that it is essential to seem merciful, faithful, humane, honest, and religious, but to be ready to act otherwise when necessity demands it. Men are simple creatures. They are easily deceived by appearances and rarely look beyond them. They are content as long as they see order, piety, and strength. They do not care if behind closed doors you are cruel, cunning, and calculating. They do not want to know the truth. They want to believe, so give them what they want. Wear the mask of the saint while wielding the dagger of the prince. Show them the candle while you light the fire. History is littered with those who mastered this duality. Think of Octavian, who styled himself as the humble restorer of the Roman Republic while systematically eliminating every rival to become Augustus Rome's first emperor. Or Louis XI of France, who cloaked his ruthlessness in diplomacy and charity while weaving a web that strangled his enemies. They understood that morality is not a hindrance to power. It is a weapon when properly worn. It disarms suspicion. It neutralizes opposition. It draws the loyalty of the masses, all while you secure your empire by any means necessary. It is not enough to do good. You must be seen doing good. It is not enough to avoid evil. You must be seen abhorring evil, even if in truth you practice it when it suits you. Public ceremonies, generous donations, pious declarations, grand gestures of clemency, these are the tools of the wise ruler. Meanwhile, in private, you manipulate, bribe, blackmail, and if necessary, destroy. Power is not clean and never has been. But appearances allow you to wade through blood without staining your garments in the eyes of the world. Your sins are forgiven before they are even suspected. Some may argue this is hypocrisy. Let them argue. Power has no obligation to be honest. Power has an obligation only to survive, to grow, and to command. If honesty serves that end, use it. If deception serves it better, embrace it without hesitation. You owe truth to no one but yourself. To the world you owe only the mask. If you seek to govern men as they are not, as they pretend to be, you must first master the art of pretending yourself. Do not, however, grow careless with your deception. A slip of the mask, a whisper of scandal, a glimpse of the ruthless beast beneath the robe can destroy years of careful cultivation. Always keep layers between yourself and your dirty work. Use intermediaries. Let others take the fall. Let your enemies discredit themselves while you remain the symbol of virtue. If an atrocity must be committed, have it done quickly and quietly, and punish a scapegoat publicly to cleanse yourself of the taint. Appear always to regret violence even as you order it with cold precision. Mourn the downfall of your rivals even as you orchestrate it. In the end, men remember what they want to remember. They will praise your mercy even if it was a calculated move. They will celebrate your honesty even if it served as a mask. They will raise monuments to your greatness, blind to the rivers of blood beneath them. History is not written by the pure. It is written by the victorious. And the victorious are those who mastered the sacred dance to appear virtuous, while being ruthless to shine like gold, while striking like iron. Never confuse the role you play with the truth you live. Wear the mask with grace, but never forget you are wearing it. Maintain the illusion with every breath you take. For the day you confuse your mask for your face is the day your enemies will tear both away and you will stand naked, exposed and powerless, pure, virtuous. But be ruthless. This is not merely a strategy, it is survival. Fourth law. Power is not merely seized through force. It is seized and maintained through control of the story. The victor is not the one who strikes the hardest blow, but the one who controls what the world believes about the blow. In the war for influence, perception is more powerful than truth, and narrative is stronger than reality. Understand this: he who tells the story shapes the minds of the masses. He who shapes minds commands armies without lifting a sword. If you fail to control the narrative, your enemies will write it for you, painting you as a villain, a tyrant, a monster. It will not matter how noble your actions were if the people believe otherwise. Therefore, you must seize the pen with the same ruthlessness you seize the throne. Machiavelli understood that men are not governed by truth. They are governed by appearances, by the tales they are told. They do not witness every event. They do not verify every fact. They accept the story that is loudest, most repeated, and most convenient to their fears and hopes. Your task is to ensure that your story, not your rivals, fills their ears. Every action you take must be accompanied by a narrative that justifies, it sanctifies it, glorifies it. When you destroy an enemy, frame it as an act of justice. When you crush a rebellion, present it as a defense of peace. When you betray an ally, declare it was necessary for the greater good. Truth is irrelevant. Only belief matters. The greatest rulers have always mastered this law. Alexander did not merely conquer lands, he crafted the myth of divine destiny. Napoleon did not simply overthrow governments, he spread the idea that he was the liberator of Europe. Even ruthless tyrants understood the need to wrap their atrocities in banners of patriotism, religion, or necessity. It is not enough to act. You must narrate your actions in a way that the world applauds, fears, or admires. Leave no space for your enemies to frame you. Flood the minds of men with your version of events until no other version can survive. To control the narrative, you must master every tool available. Patronize artists, writers, and intellectuals who will sing your praises. Suppress voices that dissent not always through obvious brutality, but through discredit, mockery, or strategic distraction. Flood the public with so much noise in your favor that the truth drowns unnoticed. In times of crisis, seize the first word. He who speaks first often defines the battlefield of ideas. Never allow your silence to become a canvas for enemy lies. Fill the void immediately, powerfully, and relentlessly. Understand, too, that the most effective narratives are not purely logical. They are emotional. Men are moved not by reason, but by feeling. Frame your actions with the language of honor, safety, prosperity, and righteousness. Make them feel that your rise is their rise, your victories, their victories, your survival, their survival. Attach your image to their deepest hopes and fears. When people feel emotionally bound to you, they will forgive crimes they would never forgive in another. They will not merely accept your dominance, they will demand it. But beware, a single crack in your narrative, if not immediately repaired, can become a breach that brings down empires. Be vigilant. Manage rumors swiftly. Punish leaks ruthlessly. Reward loyalty among those who guard your image. When enemies attempt to twist the story, do not engage in defensive explanations. Attack their credibility instead. Make the attacker look dishonest, jealous, or dangerous. Shift attention away from accusations and toward the flaws of those who accuse. The masses are easily distracted. Use that to your advantage. In every move you make, ask yourself, what story will be told about this? What headline will echo? What legend will remain? Plan your actions not just for their immediate effect, but for their lasting impression. A well-controlled narrative can make a defeat look like a strategic retreat. A betrayal look like heroic sacrifice, a ruthless purge look like a necessary cleansing. You are not just fighting battles in reality. You are waging a constant war in the minds of men. Control the narrative, and you control history. Control history, and you control destiny. Let your enemies fight you with facts. You will defeat them with belief. In the final analysis, the truth does not set men free. The story they believe does. Make sure it is your story they believe. Fifth law. The wisest rulers understand that proximity to power is everything, but proximity to your enemies is just as crucial. It is easy to keep your friends near you. They are loyal. They praise you and they align with your vision. But the true Machiavellian leader knows that the greatest threat does not come from the people who are closest to you. It comes from the ones who stand against you, who are hidden in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. This is why the true master of power always ensures that their enemies are never far. He who has his enemies close has control over the inevitable betrayal. Why? Because by keeping your enemies close, you gain access to their thoughts, their plans, and their weaknesses. You know their desires, their ambitions, and what makes them vulnerable. The closer your enemies are to you, the easier it becomes to manipulate them. You will never be blindsided by a threat if you can see its formation from the beginning. Your enemies will believe they are still out of reach, that their movements are hidden, that they are free to make their moves without your awareness. But in reality, you've anticipated every step they take. You are already one move ahead. Many great rulers and conquerors have used this law to cement their place in history. Think of Henry VIII, who kept his enemies close through court intrigue and alliances. His reign was long and prosperous because he knew how to keep a watchful eye on potential threats. Even when you are forced to deal with those you do not trust, never turn your back to them. Never let them wander free, thinking they are out of your influence. Make them feel secure in their position, only to ensure they have no room to strike. This law also extends to political manipulation. If you want to manipulate, control, or even eliminate an enemy, you must understand them deeply. You need to know what drives them, what makes them weak, and where they're most vulnerable. If you are ever to outsmart them, you must understand their mind as well as you understand your own. Your enemies are often a mirror image of yourself, driven by ambition, fear, and desire. By learning from them, you become better equipped to take them down. At the same time, keeping your enemies close ensures you control the narrative of your interactions with them. When they plot against you, you already know it. When they think they are being clever, you are the one who outmaneuvers them. They think they are taking risks, but you know the game better. You, the Machiavellian master, will never be caught off guard. You can even manipulate their actions into playing directly into your hand. Remember, this law does not mean you need to give away your trust, nor does it mean you need to show them affection. It simply means keeping your adversaries within reach, where you can monitor their moves, understand their motives, and ensure that when the time comes to strike, you do so with precision. You are the shadow watching. They are the ones who believe they are free. So never forget this principle. The best way to protect yourself from your enemies is to be in their presence constantly. The more they think they're out of your control, the more dangerous they become. When you keep them close, you maintain control. You anticipate their next move before they even think of it. You break their plans before they ever have a chance to be executed. Keep your enemies close, and they will be your greatest asset. And that's a wrap on the 5 Machiavellian laws of power. If you found this valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful insights. Remember, power isn't just about strength. It's about knowing the game and playing it better than everyone else. Stay ruthless. Stay sharp. Until next time.